what's a day? How's everybody feeling? I hope everybody's all right. Hope everybody's getting ready for the weekend, being safe, enjoying it, enjoying it as much as you can, whichever city you in, dealing with the COVID and all that type of stuff, dealing with, just how the city's handling things and stuff, just, keeping safe, keeping the mask on, all that good stuff, but that's here nor there. Story time. I haven't done story time in a little bit. A few weeks ago, I went over to help an individual with something, and I expected things to be a certain way before I got there, and it turns out that that's not what happened. So it turned out the area in which I was going to be helping the individual with something, but it wasn't the way that I needed it to be, even though I had expressed beforehand I expected it to be a certain way. So I decided to do what I had to do to make sure that things were in proper order in order for me to do what I need to do. And in the midst of me doing that, I became very frustrated, very agitated. And quite frankly, I became a little angry. I asked the individual to do something. Now, I mean, as you can tell, I'm keeping things very vague and things like that because I don't like putting people's business out there and stuff like that. But, it's still leading to something. But I asked the individual to do something, and they couldn't do it. It's not that they didn't want to do it. They didn't have the ability to do it. But in the midst of me being frustrated and in the midst of me being angry, I kind of went off on them a little bit. And I was very angry. I was just like, yo, what is wrong with you? I expected this to be a certain way. I told you this. How many times do I got to talk to you about this? How many times do I got to, whatever. So basically, you just whatever. You're going to ask me for help, but, whatever. But I come over here and I try to help, and it's still whatever. So I was very frustrated and stuff, and I had to take a breather and leave and come back a little bit later when I calmed down. And in the midst of me leaving, I spoke to a friend, and they just were checking up, how are you? How's the day going? And I expressed what happened. And my friend was like, just calm down, go back step by step. And I explained that, I expected things to be a certain way. You asked me to help with something, and I expected it to be a certain way. It wasn't a certain way. So while I'm doing something that I expected to be done already, I asked you to lend a helping hand, and you didn't do it. And, it took my friend explaining to me that you're not mad at that individual. So you expressing that anger to that individual was wrong. You going off on that individual was wrong. You can't expect them to do something they are not capable of doing. That person was not capable of doing that. It would be, just so you get a better understanding, it would be as if I were asking, it would be as if I was asking a baby to go to the gas counter, pay $20 on pump 9, and pump the car up. Baby. So 1 and under, toddler and under. You know what I'm saying? Just so you can have a general idea and just so you have an understanding on when I say this person was not capable of doing what I asked them to do. But because I was so frustrated, I didn't see that. I just saw them not listening. I just saw them not paying me any mind. So I became angry with them and very frustrated. And, you know, my friend had to explain, you're not frustrated with them, you're frustrated with that situation. You're frustrated with something else, you know, but, you know, in which you have every right to be. But you're wrong for directing it at that person. And, you know, this happened a few weeks ago. It just crossed my mind again. And I said, you know, I should speak on it because, you know, as cool and calm as you try to be, and as, you know, as fair as you try to be, and just try to think analytically and think clearly and think fairly, there are times where, you know, your emotions just get the best of you, man. And when I say emotion, it doesn't have to be, you know, crying. It doesn't have to be sadness. And sometimes it's just anger, you know. Sometimes it's just frustration. It just gets the best of you. And sometimes you direct it at the wrong person. Let me tell you one of the hardest things to do. And I commend all of, you know, my friends that have done it to me. My family that has done it to me. And I've done it to other individuals where I told them in the midst of them being angry, so I understand how difficult it is. It is very difficult to tell a person that is frustrated, that is agitated, that they're wrong, and you need to apologize. Nobody wants to hear that when they're in the mood, when they're pissed. Nobody wants to hear that. And, you know, with you saying that, you know, you put yourself in, you know, in range of getting, you know, some residuals of that. And, you know, I commend that person for talking to me in the midst of me being angry and stuff like that, because at the end of the day, once I finally calmed down, I realized I was wrong. I realized that, yeah, that's crazy of me to, you know, to go off on them like that and expect them to be able to do something where they're just not physically able to do. So, you know, I went back and, you know, I apologized, and, you know, I sat the person down and I talked to them and I said, look, I'm sorry that I'm very sorry that I did that. You know, I shouldn't have expected that. You know, I shouldn't have put that responsibility on you. It's not your responsibility. So I'm sorry, you know. And I do this video to say that sometimes you put your foot in your mouth. Sometimes you say stupid things. You're not perfect. I'm not perfect. No matter what you see on my Facebook, no matter what you see in my videos, you see the cool, calm, you see the emotional, you see, I get angry. I get agitated. People agitate me. People annoy me at times, you know. And sometimes, you know, I do lash out. Sometimes it comes off wrong. I come off wrong. I am wrong in situations. You need to be able to look at yourself. Take a moment and say, yo, was I wrong in that situation? Run it by somebody that you trust, you know? Because sometimes you are the jackass. I know you don't want to think that way. I know most of us want to think that we're, we're thinking logically, and every single one of, I've met people that they just knew for a fact in every situation is somebody else's fault. That other person is wrong. Something in the universe is wrong. I'm right. People annoy me, man. But it's like, yo, you got to be willing to apologize when you're wrong and mean that, joint. You got to be willing to, take a step back and say, you know what? I made a mistake and I was wrong. I assessed the situation incorrectly. I'm sorry. That's it. And mean it, obviously, but you know, but that's it. Sometimes you're wrong. You just gotta take the L. Woman up, man up, be straight up about it, and say, yo, I was tripping. Yo, I went off for no reason. That was idiotic of me. Yo, that was crazy of me that I went off about you stepping on the cheese doodle. You know what I'm saying? You know, maybe it's not nothing that light, but you know, sometimes it is just a matter of like, yo, like I was tripping and I had a bad day, and you know, there's no excuse in that, but you know, just be honest. I was already frustrated, yeah, you know, and I had to explain, you know, I was frustrated, but that's not on you. You're not the cause of it, and I apologize about that. Gotta be honest with yourselves, people. You gotta be straight up with things, and you gotta always try to go back and revisit things, and you know, that's how you learn. You know, when things you go through, the situations you deal with, how could I have handled this a little bit better? You know, and just always be mindful of that. That's all. So that's my little story. You know, just to say, sometimes you're wrong. Sometimes you have to apologize. Sometimes it is you the wrong one. So it's all a path, man. It's just growth and evolving and becoming a better version of you. With each waking moment, with each waking situation, each passing year, you're just trying to get to a better version of you. And learning how to balance things, you know. Learning not to be taken advantage of. Learning how to apologize. Learning how to live with yourself. Learning how to take the moments that come. The sad, the happy, the good, the bad. That's all. So, anyway. Back to hustling. Love y'all. Be easy. Be safe. I'm out. Get it.